It's Salvaje, and I'm back at it again with another Fortnite Save the World in-depth weapon review. And in this review, I'm going to be reviewing the Mic Drop Club from the Boombox weapon set available from Rad Llamas. My creator code is Salvaje, and if you want to use my creator code to buy Borderlands 3, that would also be appreciated. I am going to be covering Borderlands 3, as you guys know. But enough about BO3, let's talk about the Mic Drop melee weapon. Something that I've noticed about this specific weapon set is that there's a lot of weapons that sort of fill a specific purpose in this set, and the Mic Drop is definitely one of them. I tried this weapon out on an offensive type mode, and I didn't really have a ton of success with it, despite the fact that I was using Untitled Chapter, and I was able to, of course, get the secondary attack very often. I sort of feel like the weapon that this weapon dishes out when it comes down to the primary attack isn't super great. It's good, but it's not as amazing as some of the other melee weapons that we have in Save the World that can compete with the Mic Drop, like the Stab Sword of the Third or Laser Sword, Masamune, Neon Scythe, and all of the other great melee weapons that we have in Save the World. However, that doesn't really make the Mic Drop a bad weapon. I have a different review criteria when it comes down to melee weapon than ranged weapons, because melee weapons are a little bit different in Save the World. Melee weapons are the type of weapons in Save the World that you sort of want to cater to, because if you don't cater to the melee weapon is going to be pretty useless, right? And something that I've noticed is that if you use this weapon to its strength, it's actually a weapon that can bring you a lot of value when you are in a match. And that leads me forward to my next point. What type of match, right? Well, I found out that this weapon in defensive type modes, like Retrieve the Data, is actually really useful. For the most part, I like to use melee weapons on the offensive. I like to be in the spawn, eliminating a lot of husk. But I found that the Mic Drop is really effective to be a patrolling type weapon. A weapon that you're going to be using around the objective or around the specific area. And the reason for this is, it's because the secondary attack, which is very similar to the Astrobat, right, just releases a shockwave that is actually going to do some pretty decent damage to the husks that are right in front of you. This makes it like, like really good for crowd control, right? One of the biggest struggles that melee weapons like the Mic Drop suffer from time to time is that their swing speed is really slow and they're not able to be efficient when eliminating a lot of husks. But due to the secondary attack that the Mic Drop has, this weakness is sort of covered for, which means that the weapon is actually usable, believe it or not. Clubs in Fortnite Save the World aren't extremely popular, and weapons like the Astrobat, while fun, they're not really super effective, but I definitely see this weapon having a place, specifically if you mix it up with some of the new Boombox heroes that we got. Like Power Pop Penny, for example, which every heavy weapon elimination, I believe she gives you the Rocking Riff damage boost. And of course, if you also have the team perk, this Mic Drop weapon can be really good as well. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you're going to be getting a lot of value with this weapon if you play to its strength. I'm going to assume that if you're watching the review of the Mic Drop, you're either watching it when Year 3 Llamas came out and you have a chance to get the Boombox heroes again, or when you're, of course, you're listening to this review as the Rad Llama is currently available, which means that you have access to these heroes that make the Mic Drop Club really good, which means that your Mic Drop melee schematic might actually be worth leveling. The perks that I ran with this thing is critical rating, double critical damage, and attack speed. I also want to point out, by the way, that the dancing that this club brings to the table is really helpful. When it comes down to the shotgun, like the woofer, the dancing isn't really as effective because the husks are going to be at close range and you're just going to eliminate them eventually because of how much damage the woofer is able to provide. So I think the dancing isn't as valuable with something like the woofer, but with the Mic Drop, it's completely different. Since this is mostly a defensive type weapon that you're going to be using at the defensive modes or sort of guarding a specific objective or attacking an objective, like an encampment, for example, this weapon brings in a lot of value with the dancing because it stops the husk from actually damaging your structures. Something that the Bead Blaster sort of was not able to do is that since you're going to be using it within the 5, 4, 3 tile range, the dancing is not going to be as good unless you're using it around the objective, and again you cause the husk to dance to hit the objective. Well, that's not the case with the mic drop, right? And I think the reason for this is, and the reason why I appreciate the dancing with the mic drop instead of some of the other weapons in the set, is because this is actually a melee weapon. This is a weapon that is going to highly benefit from the dancing ability. So overall, what do I think about the mic drop? Well, let me give you guys the star rating. It's a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a melee weapon that has a purpose to fulfill and is able to do that purpose very, very effectively. And that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The secondary attack is very helpful, and if you cater to the weapon, specifically with the brand new heroes and some of the base game heroes like the assassin heroes that we have in the game, and other melee heroes that we have in the game, this weapon can actually bring you a lot of value. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Jeremy. He actually did give me this weapon because I don't have enough evolution materials to level up all of the brand new weapons and review them. So shout out to the homie Jeremy. And if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more Save the World content right here at the Salvage Cartel. Peace.